Crossed lines. Most of the Fat Controller's engines accepted diesels. James had never liked them, said Henry. James grunted. Remarked Duck. Scoffed James. All the engines agreed that James was becoming much too puffed up in his smoke box. Grumbled Henry. Remarked Duck. Pleaded Donald. Agreed Henry. The engines tried all sorts of ideas, but nothing worked. James grew so conceited that the others were glad when he was away. Even the coaches twittered anxiously to each other if they thought he was to pull them. One day, James came to the shed, fuming with rage. He snorted. But the twins were helping on Edward's branch line, so James had to do the work himself. James's train had long trucks called whale wagons. They have bogie wheels at each end with a low section between them. They are used to carry cars, tractors and other heavy machinery. The shunting should have been easy, but James was cross and bumped the trucks. They cried. Some of them slipped their brakes on to spite James. The weather was damp and misty too, so the shunting took a long time. At last, James had only 2 trucks to fetch before his train was ready. Because of the mist, the signalman sometimes found it hard to see what was happening. James's driver told him that James would whistle when they had collected all the trucks and were clear of the points. They had almost finished when suddenly James heard a sharp peep peep from another engine close by. The signalman heard it too and thought it was James saying he was ready. He pulled the lever, setting the points for the main line. But James wasn't ready. The points changed when one of the trucks was halfway over them. One bogie went the right way, but the other was diverted towards the main line. Before James realized it, the truck was traveling sideways between the 2 lines. A signal stood right in its path. Squealed the truck. But it was too late. The signal toppled to the ground with a crash, just missing James. Said James's driver. He didn't. He spoke severely about it because the signal was important and its loss was inconvenient. James knew that the accident was not his fault, but he was unusually quiet in the shed that evening. The others were relieved. Whispered a voice. James pretended he hadn't heard.